Chef Des coming at you from my kitchen again, and today we're gonna make lemon soufflés. If you love lemon, you're gonna love this dessert. Now we do a couple of tricks to make sure that this turns out beautifully every single time by adding a little bit of flour and adding a little bit of baking powder. But I'm telling you, this dessert is out of this world and you're gonna love it. And one of my favorite eggs I like to use for lemon soufflés are Country Golden Yolks. Country Golden Yolks are free-range eggs since 1989, and they're locally owned and family run in the beautiful Fraser Valley. So we have our oven preheated at 300 degrees, a little bit of a lower temperature, and we're gonna take 5 or 6 ramekins. It's your choice whether to do 5 or 6 portions, but what's really going to determine that is how well you whip your egg whites and how well they're folded in, because that's gonna provide you greater volume if you do a really good job at that. We're gonna cover that in a minute, but what I'm gonna do, just to be safe, I'm going to butter 6 ramekins, and that way I have at least 6 standing by. And if you only fill 5 of them, hey, that's okay, just pull that last one out. We're just gonna take a little bit of butter. I like to use my hands. You can use a paper towel, whatever. And we're buttering 5 to 6 1-cup ramekins. And I have them set in a cake pan. These 1-cup ramekins, 6 of them fit nicely in a 9x13 cake pan. And we're gonna create a Bain-Marie, which means we're gonna put boiling water in there to help the eggs cook evenly. I'm just gonna go through and butter all of these ramekins. All right, there they are. Let's start making the batter for these. Do it in a larger bowl. We're gonna start off with 2 tablespoons of butter. But everything in this batter is going to end up in this big bowl. So there's gonna be a few elements that we're gonna do, and everything's gonna end up in the big bowl, and you're gonna want room in this big bowl to fold in the egg whites at the very end. And 3/4 cup of white sugar. I'm gonna do this by hand because it's a very small amount, just the 2 tablespoons of butter and that little bit of sugar. We just wanna cream this together. So obviously this is room temperature butter, and you're just gonna keep mixing that until it's fully combined. All right, that's good. We're gonna do a couple things by hand today. Sometimes I just like to go old school on you. That's gonna be one of them. Then to this mix, we're going to add 7 tablespoons of flour, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and just a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We're gonna blend that in. Now I want you to have a few ingredients standing by. We're not gonna put them in yet until our eggs are separated and we have our egg whites whipped. But just to go through what we have here, we have a couple teaspoons of grated lemon zest. Now with that lemon zest, you can do one of 2 things. You can use the traditional zesting tool and scrape it down and then chop it and measure out your 2 teaspoons. Or you can use a microplane grater and zest it that way, and then there's no chopping involved, and measure out your 2 teaspoons after that. Also have a 1/2 cup of fresh lemon juice standing by. This is not time for your bottled lemon juice, folks. You wanna make sure that you're juicing fresh lemons so you have that nice bright flavor coming through in this dessert. And then also 1 cup of milk standing by. All right, now it's time for our eggs. We need 4 large eggs. What we're gonna do is we're gonna separate yolks and whites. I'm gonna be whipping the whites by hand. You can use a stand mixer if you like. What I find is if you are ever doing whites by hand, using a copper bowl helps them to be whipped a lot faster, but a stainless steel bowl is fine. So I'm gonna take each egg, crack it, let my whites go into this bowl, put my shells in here, and then just coddle that yolk to separate it. And then put the yolks in this bowl. Try not to get the egg yolk, any of it, in with the egg whites, because that will inhibit the whites from whipping up nicely. So let's just beat up these yolks really quick. And we'll set that aside with these other ingredients. Let's focus on our egg whites now. We also have another 1/2 cup of sugar standing by, but I want you to mix the egg whites first to moist peaks. So again, I'm gonna do this by hand. I'm gonna go old school. If you wanna pull out your stand mixer for this, you can do that. But I'll show you what moist peaks are like. But we're doing the egg whites first by themselves. Usually that's a good rule of thumb. Get them really frothy before you add any sugar or any other ingredients. Another good tip for whipping egg whites, you notice that I have my bowl tilted. You'll get more depth of the egg whites if the bowl is tilted and you're in that crevice of the bowl rather than having the bowl flat. And what happens is you get the ability to whip more air into it because the egg volume is deeper this way. So you might think this is going to take a long time. It will definitely take longer than a stand mixer, but sometimes it's just fun to do it by hand. It won't take forever. We'll get there. That's what you're looking for, moist peaks. So it does a little curly cue like a soft serve ice cream. So what we're gonna do now that we're at our moist peaks, we're gonna take that half cup of sugar and just blend that in just until it's combined. That will help stabilize the egg whites as well, keep them from separating. Let's go back to our original dry mix now. So to that, we're gonna add the egg yolks, the lemon zest, the half cup of lemon juice, and we'll just take an opportunity to stir that around, get that blended. It's a little bit easier to do it now before the milk goes in. And look at the beautiful color we get from using the yolks from our Country Golden Yolks eggs. And then the 1 cup of milk. And just combine that together now. Now before we blend these egg whites into this mixture here, you want to make sure you have a kettle standing by, which I do here, and I'll just turn that on. Because remember, we're going to be filling this pan full of boiling water. Take one more opportunity just to make sure these are fully combined, and you'll see that they are. The sugar does a good job of keeping them together. Then you're going to want a large spatula. I'm going to teach you a folding technique. But let's get these egg whites into this mixture. So to properly fold in egg whites, there's 3 movements that you need to do. What we're trying to do is combine these egg whites into the mixture without deflating them, but at the same time, we want to add some more air to this mixture too. So you're going to take your spatula, you're going to scrape the bowl, turn the bowl as you're scraping, come around and push. And that step will push more air into it. So again, you're going to scrape, turn the bowl, and push. Scrape, turn, push. Scrape, turn, push. And you're going to keep doing that until all the egg whites are combined. Scrape, turn, push. Scrape, turn, push. That also cleans the edge of your bowl as you go around as well. Scrape, turn, push. So again, you're scraping, turning the bowl, pushing. Scrape, turn, push. Scrape, turn, push. You may be tempted just to get a spoon and just stir it all in. Don't do that. You're going to deflate the egg whites. Keep it up. It won't take very long. Scrape, turn, push. Scrape, turn, push. And you'll get used to that movement, which will allow you to go a bit faster. This will help build a nice light texture to these soufflés. This is a classic step with a soufflé, is beating the egg whites separately and folding them in. All right, and we're there. So now, carefully, we're going to take our prepared ramekins, and this is going to determine whether you have enough for 5 or 6, depending on your whipping action of your egg whites and your folding action as well. Let's see how we do. So at first, I fill them about 3/4 of the way full, until I know how much I'm going to have to go around. It's okay if you make a bit of mess in that pan, because we're going to be filling it with hot water anyway. And just enough for 6. Put the rest of it in here. Let's take our kettle now. When you're filling in the hot water, make sure you're in close proximity to your oven so you don't have far to carry this. And when you're pouring this in here, be careful obviously not to get it in the ramekins, and you want to make sure that you pour enough in so they're about halfway up the side of the ramekins. That's going to help them cook nice and even. So again, preheat it at 300 degrees, and carefully, because of the hot water, put them in there. So you want to bake those for about 55 to 60 minutes, so pretty much an hour. I would check them at 55 minutes. What you're looking for is for them to be just slightly golden, and they're not jiggly anymore, and they'll be just perfect. All right, there's our timer. Let's have a look at these. Again, be very careful because of the hot water. Yeah, these look really good. And what you're looking for is them to be just slightly golden like that and just firm to the touch. And they're set. You can tell that they're set by just taking one, again, careful of the hot water, and just jiggling it, and it doesn't move. So you know it's completely set. So you want to now take them out of the Bain-Marie, being really careful. You can use tongs if you want to. Sometimes I find that tongs are a bit too slippery, and then set them on a cooling rack and let them sit for at least 5 minutes before you start digging into them. Now that they have sat and cooled down, let's have a taste. Oh, and you can see on the bottom there, look at the custardy lemon that we have there. It's amazing. Wow. That is bursting with so much lemon flavor. You're gonna love these. You can even garnish with a little dollop of whipped cream, mint leaf, and your guests will be so impressed. My recipes demand great ingredients, like the greatness of Country Golden Yolks, free-range and organic eggs. Make sure you're checking out the website at countrygoldenyolks.com, and this is Chef Des signing out. Where are you getting your protein from?